All right, I think we got a lot of people in, so let's kick it off. So good morning, good afternoon once again, wherever you are based. I'm Evan Vargas, and I'm ISV Account Manager here at Mendix. Welcome to yet another session of Low Code Solution Spotlight at Mendix, where we showcase software vendors and ISV partners from Mendix who are revolutionizing software development with low code technology. Today, I have with me Ian Oldrey, who is a managing director at 1025. 1025 is based in UK and has been with Mendix since 2017, first as a customer and then as an ISV partner with their ISV solution Merchanter, which is a modern cloud ERP trading and stock control system that integrates sales, purchasing, and stock management all in one platform. And I'm sure you're all in for a good treat from Ian when he talks about Merchanter. For today's session, I will do a very short introduction to Mendix and our ISV program, which is a very short, brief introduction. And after that, we will hear from Ian on their ISV solution and a brief demo, which I'm sure will be useful to everyone on this call. I'm sure a lot of you will have questions as Ian goes through his session. So humble request is to keep the solutions to the end, but feel free to pop them in the Q&A box that you can see in the webinar on the top box. And we'll take them all at the end of the session. I'm really looking forward to the session, and I hope you too as well. Ian has quite a wonderful demo for us as well. So let's kick it off from here. So just a brief introduction on Mendix. Mendix was founded back in 2005 as a tool to develop software with low code. We were acquired by Siemens in 2018, who also is our biggest customer. And as Mendix is a leader in the low code space, Siemens is a leader in an innovative technology. Siemens is also rebuilding its software, various software with Mendix. We are a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant and Forrester Wave. We also have developed strategic partnerships with SAP, AWS, and Snowflake more recently. We have around 4,000 plus customers globally, and from an ISV program perspective, we have 100 plus partners. And what Mendix is all about, it's a low-code technology. It's the fastest and easiest way to build, integrate, and extend solutions, applications, and so on. If you were to ask me what Mendix is all about, 3 words I would say: speed, collaboration, and control. Now, let's take a very short look at how that is achieved. Speed is helping you achieve faster time to market using very less resources. As you can see, they're 10 times faster with 70% less resources. The applications built on Mendix run anywhere, any device, and you just build it once. The business colleagues can collaborate with IT and design and development at the same platform. At the same time, IT organizations can maintain control and work with and enhance technical architecture and strategies. And of course, deployment is one click away, whether you want to do private cloud or public cloud. The flexibility is there to bring your own cloud or on-premise. We still know that some enterprise solutions still run on-premise, even though cloud is prevalent. I mean, as you'll see from Merchanter 1025's cloud ERP, it's still on the way to cloud, but we'll still see there are some other organizations will still do on-premise. A word on AI. AI machine learning capabilities are built into Mendix, and Mendix is one of the first low-code application platforms to support embedded machine learning models versus API-based integration. There's a lot of Gen AI stuff going on and being built by Mendix, and a lot of integrations, but also internal stuff going on, which is all more exciting for ISVs and our customers to leverage them these days. Before I go into explain a little bit about what ISV program is and then move on to Ian, I just want to talk a little bit about adaptable solutions, what that means. This is something that's been talked about a lot in the last several years. So an adaptable solution, up to 20% of the end solution can be adapted through customizations, extensions, or integrations, or even new modules for specific customers. What this means is instead of being tied to a specific prescriptive SaaS solution that only allows for configuration at runtime, the adaptable solutions allow for design time adaptation, which means you're changing stuff which can be at the model or level that caters to specific needs of customers. And this means a lot to independent software vendors or ISVs. What that means is they're able to sell software solutions that can be adapted for every specific customer. And this allows ISVs to be more relevant in their customer base and being able to change the UI, UX, process, data, or integration, and so on. And best of all, the solution delivered as such, as an adaptable solution, is upgradable with one click, so that ISVs can deliver quite fast innovations and improvements. That's just an introduction on the adaptable solutions, but let's take a look at the ISV program in a nutshell. The ISV program uh, kicked off back in 2020, which was a new model that was brought out to help our ISV partners to transform their businesses. We work with ISVs like you to define commercial solutions that you want to sell. We provide technical enablement that remove the risk from building the solutions. Our technical teams or technical account managers are available throughout the lifetime of your solution. And our ISV commercial models are very flexible and they provide a shared risk and reward with our partners. The ISV program has been designed to satisfy the needs of partners of all sizes. Whether you are a startup or an established software business like 1025 that you'll see in a minute, or whether you're running a new software product line or looking to re-platform your existing solution, probably from an older scope or older high code solution onto Mendix, we have something that works for everyone. There is a lot of openness and adaptability in the platform and the program, which allows for a win-win partnership. Now, before I hand over to Ian, if you'd like to learn more about the partnership that we have from an ISV perspective, check out the link, which I'll also share in the chat, and we're happy to have a conversation to see what works for you. Right, now that's out of the way, it's time for the most exciting session, time in the session, right? I'll let Ian take it from here and talk about how 1025 leverage Mendix to build their cloud ERP, and we also have a short demo of the solution. Right. So, Ian, over to you.
Lovely. Thank you, Abin. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone. Lovely to have everyone on board and be able to give you a quick introduction to myself, 1025, and the product that we've created on the Mendix platform. I promise I've only got a couple of slides, but hopefully just to give a little bit of background. I'm Ian Oldrey. I'm the Managing Director of 1025 Software. 1025 Software was set up by my father after he worked for a timber company in the 1970s and wrote an original trading and stock control system for that business in 1973. He then broke away from that business and set up 1025 in 1981, and we've been selling systems to predominantly timber and builders merchants, but also to steel stockholders, agricultural merchants, stone and slate merchants, various other sort of businesses who have a particular sort of challenge in terms of how they do their sales, purchasing and stock control. There's a number of ERP systems on the market with obviously very great capability sets, but the sort of thing that's particularly a challenge for our customers is where you have got measured products, you've got items that as a sales process you might start by selling a very vague quantity and start to transform that into a more detailed quantity and want to accurately record what stock you've got as you go, then that's the sort of thing that's not the easiest challenge to overcome on a computer system. Computers like to have nice, neat, managed things that they can take in and out, and starting with things like vague quantities and so on is not the easiest to be able to sort of program around the business logic that sort of works with that. So that's why, as I say, we started as a business in 81, and before that on various sort of mainframe systems, and originally had sort of Linux and Unix-based versions of the system up through the 90s and into the noughties and so on. When I took over the business in 2015, I was very keen to be able to redevelop on a modern platform that would give us tremendous flexibility and so on. And so that's why we set about looking to develop what is now the Merchanter system as a ground-up development of a complete ERP system. So this was, whilst we were inheriting from the sort of understanding of what we had built previously, this was a ground-up new ERP system as we looked to develop it. And so what we did is we looked at the market and various different options that were available. And I came across Mendix as potentially a good solution. And the more I started to look into it, the more it looked like it was going to be a good option for us. The main reason being that in terms of actually sort of developing the application, I am not a coder. I'm not a developer. I have a very keen interest in an understanding, I like to think, of the commercial requirements of what people are looking to achieve. And I can therefore sort of interpret what is needed in terms of an application, how we want it to look, how we want it to use. But what I wanted to do was be able to come up with something that was easy to be able to, for me to be able to look at the business logic layer, the code layer, sorry, not the code, the data structure layer and the screen layouts and so on, and be able to work with my development team to be able to do that, and for them to have the scope to be able to create complex applications as we go and so on. And so when we decided that was the route we wanted to go down, Mendix gave us an ideal solution for that. We set about, as Abin says, 2017, developing the application, built that up and actually launched the product at the beginning of 2020, and have been offering it out to merchant customers ever since then. And so Merchanter is, as I say, it's an ERP system. It's designed to cover the sales processing, purchasing and stock management, all integrated for a merchant, importer or stockist business. Okay. And so what I'd like to do now is, before going through any other PowerPoints and so on, I'm going to give everyone, as Abin says, hopefully a useful introduction to the Merchanter system. If I share my screen. Lovely stuff. Hope everyone can see that well. So this is Merchanter, being developed, as Abin says, as a cloud system on the Mendix platform. It's a natively cloud application, so users can come in, log into a browser, be able to access the system from wherever they're working from, whether it's different locations within the business or wherever it is they have to work, whether they're working from home or out seeing clients or suppliers. They've got full access into the system, and also the scope to be able to go on and do sort of mobile operations and so on as well. Typically within a business, the majority of our customers will be multi-user, so there'll be a range of people from a sales team, which might be trade counter users, sales reps who are taking telephone calls, responding to e-commerce orders coming in, to stock managers who are going and checking products, pickers, drivers, machinists, buyers. So there's a whole range of different users within the system. And as well, those can be at one particular location, or they might be across multiple different sites. So I'm logged into my demonstration business here as a user. I hasten to add that's not me, but this is the user who is working at our Guildford depot. And we can drop down and see that we have another trading depot. And in the case of this business, we also hold stock at Tilbury Docks, which is a docks here in the UK. And so a business might be able to hold stock at separate locations to the ones that we're doing. As a user, you can switch between those different locations and trade as you need to. So if we come into the actual sort of home screen, firstly, everyone, as they log into the system, has these KPIs, different tiles. and different users can personalize this to be exactly what they want it to be. So I've got in here a selection of different KPIs, which has got things like who are my customers who are on stop, and purchases that we've placed month to date, and sales that we've done. Whereas somebody who, for example, is a sales rep may be targeted in a lot more on what are their quotes to follow up, what sales have they achieved this month, which of their customers have just gone on stop, things like that. And all of these KPIs are designed to be easy to reference. They are all click through. So if I want to look at customers who are on stop, that takes me in and just shows me a list of the 3 customers who are on stop. If I come back to the home screen again, it might be that we look at something like sales month to date, for example, which just gives me a very simple graph where it's building up the sales through the month. I can see the sort of progress as we go. I've not set a sales target, but I can see that based on the sales so far, we're projected to finish at 31,000, and we've got 8 trading days left to achieve that. And so different things to drill into, those that are obviously sort of concerns, things like low stock products and customers on stop and so on, will highlight up red, so that they are obviously sort of more urgent if that's what people need. Then moving down the screen, we've built an activity timeline. And so with the activity timeline, as users are going through and doing things on the system, it is actually creating effectively almost like a sort of news feed of what is happening. Now, I've got it set at the moment that I'm picking up everything that's happening across the whole company. I might want to filter just into my depot or even just my own activity as I go. As I scroll down, you can see another user here has changed a particular order. I can click to see what she's been doing. I can click to go into that order. I can click to go to that customer record, and I can see the details of what's been happening. So firstly, I can make sure and see what's happened with various colleagues and so on. And this timeline you'll see as we go into different parts of the system is also accessed. So as we go into sort of customers and orders and so on, you have it as well. It also has the capability that where I've got an entry that I've put in, there's a little star at the end here. So if this is an order that I want to be able to keep an eye on, I can just star it. It will then be put up into my favorites here. And so I can see all of my favorites. And if I wanted to jump into that customer, for example, I can click on the link and that will take me into that customer record, and away I go. So it's a very useful way to be able to sort of keep an eye on the different things that are more important for the different users. Jumping back to the home screen again, last thing we have is over on the right hand side, we have recents, so that as you're actually sort of progressing through customer sales, products and so on, you have the list of what you've been working on most recently, the ability to go and do a full search or start a new entry if that's what's relevant. Up at the top of the screen here, we have a global search on the system. So if I want to go and look for gate, for example, that goes and looks and it finds all of the customers, contacts, products, purchases, sales, everything where gate is somewhere within the name, the product code, the description, the address, whatever it may be that we want. So makes it a very useful and easy thing that if you've got a customer on the phone or if you're trying to find something, they might give you an order number, they might just say what their name is, they might refer to a product that they're interested in. It doesn't matter, whatever it is, you can type it in the top and it's nice and easy to get to. And it's a relatively quick search, as you see, having grouped it up, where in terms of purchase orders, it just shows the first 10, the most recent 10 on those. It shows that there's actually 55 results have been found on that. And if I click into that, I can see those 55 and therefore do a more detailed search and so on if I want to, specifically on those purchase orders. There we go. So if we jump in, let's go and take a quick look at a customer record. The sort of thing, merchant customers will be dealing with a mix of cash and credit customers, but all of them can have customer records. So you can actually start to pick up detailed trading information about those particular customers. So I've got here, again, the timeline. This is now filtered back to what's been done for this particular customer. And again, we can go and add alongside the system generated activity entries, we can go in and add notes with particular subjects. We can alert those notes. You can upload attachments if you want to, and you can set reminders either for yourself or for different users within the group, or for whole departments, so that it'll actually pop up similar to the sort of reminders you get in Outlook and other applications that will pop up and give a reminder to chase this particular thing. So if we pop out of that, over on the right hand side, again, we've got a series of KPIs here that are now relating to this customer. So things like he's got £17,000 of available credit against a £130,000 credit limit, what he's been spending with us, whether that's up or down on the previous 30 days, live quotes, live orders, who the main contacts are, and so on. So just giving a real sort of snapshot of the customer before you actually sort of go into all of the additional detail that you can start to pick up. In the half hour I've got to give you a quick introduction, I hasten to add I'm not going to hit absolutely everything in here, but a couple of sort of particular highlights with things like addresses and so on. You can have both multiple delivery addresses and an invoicing address for a customer, and all of those addresses are referenced on Google Maps, so that as you're placing orders, as you're looking to make deliveries and so on, you can see where the different sort of site addresses are. And obviously, being Google Maps, you can jump into satellite views and so on to see what access is like and things like that. Another one that's particularly useful if you're trading with customers is you can go in and see what kind of products the customer has been buying. So this is everything they've purchased over the last 6 months. With these particular products, you can come through, highlight a product that they may be interested in. I can see how much they've spent with us in the last 6 months, total number of orders, days since last order, and down the bottom is an expansion that shows all of the times, not just over the last 6 months, that this customer has either been quoted for or ordered this particular product. So you can go through and reference those sort of different things as you need. It also means that if I highlight an item here, if I'm talking to the customer about this particular product and they say, this is something I'm interested in, what's the price on it now, or could I have some more of that? You'll see over on the right hand side here, we have an add to basket button, and up in the header of the system at the moment, same as you would find on any e-commerce system, is a blank basket. So if the customer is interested in this, I can simply say add to basket. That goes and adds that item up into the basket. I could then go and look at other things that they're interested in. I can choose another item and add that into the basket as well. And so it just means I can carry on the conversation. I've not had to step away from his record. I can go and look up sort of old quotes and orders and so on. We link into a series of financial packages, so Xero, QuickBooks and so on. So you can go in and you can actually see all of the sort of outstanding invoices and so on that relate to that customer. So lots of different things that you can do on that side of things. Moving away and going and having a quick look at the basket then. So if we jump up to the basket here, as well as being able to sort of feed products up to the basket from different locations around the system, you can also use the basket directly to be able to build up a series of products that a customer might be interested in. So it's firstly showing me the products that I've looked at most recently in here, so I can see that nicely. But I've got some search functions as well, so I could scan a barcode to be able to find a product. I can do a text search, so if I just type in ply, that goes and finds the 23 items that have got ply, again, somewhere within the description or codes and so on. I can filter back by particular sort of categories of products. So if I go into timber, that'll take me down, and I can then sort of filter further into groups and subgroups depending on what you've got, similar to being able to make those sort of selections as you would on an e-commerce site. So with these, I can see what I've actually got as product description, what I'm holding in stock, and what is free available for sale if it's different to the physical stock holding that we've got, and a base or sort of retail price for selling those particular products. So again, if this is something the customer is interested in, I simply click the plus and that adds it into the basket. If he tells me the quantity that he's interested in, I can go and change that nice and simply at that point there. The other sort of thing we can be doing is obviously everything I've put in here is a sort of predefined unit product. If we want to go and sell him something a bit more complicated, like a sort of timber product, so I've got here some sort of carcassing timber. When I go and add this into the basket, rather than adding in a default of 1, it actually pops up with a more advanced quantity entry box. And so what you have in the quantity entry box is, firstly at the top here, it's showing me how much free stock I've got at my depot. But if I open this up, I can see what I've physically got, and that's expressed both in cubic meters and running meters, what's allocated against current sales but hasn't yet been dispatched to the customer, and what's free available for sale, and what we've actually got on order, so placed purchase orders that are due in with us. I can click on stock at other depots and see how much I've got. The Guildford depot is where we're trading from now. I can see what I've got in Ferndown, and I can also see what I've got sat at the quay at Tilbury as well, if I want to. And I can look at the forward stock movements, so I can very simply go in and see what orders have I got due out, what's coming out of the mill, what purchases are due to come in, and I can see the influence that's having on my stock as going. So all of this information is available just from this little sort of snapshot up at the top of the quantity entry box. When we move down to the quantity entry box, because it's not just a simple unit product, we've got a number of different methods of being able to put quantities in for a timber product. So it might be a total length, a length and pieces, volume and pieces. What we have expanded here on the right here, which is a length-based specification. So within the one product, I'm holding stock of 2.43, 3.3 meter different lengths. So fixed cross section and a variable length product, and I can have whole packs as well, so pre-bundled packs of timber as well on this product. What we then do is you can either sort of use the buttons to navigate between these different methods and enter the detail in at the bottom here, or we have a single line smart entry box for how you want to actually put quantity in. So if I've got a customer who wants 125 meters of this product, I do 125 m, and that goes into the basket as 125 meters. If it's a volume that they want to buy, then I can say 2.5 m3, and away that goes. It could be wanted to do that in imperial instead, so we actually wanted 70 cubic feet. And so that's now gone in cubic feet. You'll see it's still priced per cubic meter. Or it may be a case that the customer is giving me a cutting list to work from of different length that they would like. So they'll say that they want 5 3.6s and 11 2.4s and 15 4.8s. And so I can type in a single string, and that goes in. So that's now got 116.4 meters. But if I expand the quantity detail again, you'll see that entry that I've done is now fed in against the different lengths that I've got in for the different lengths in the product. I can amend it further if I want to. I can overtype the descriptions at the top if I want, but otherwise, if I'm happy with that, I can confirm, and in that goes. So once I've built up a basket of items, I can see the sort of total cost and so on, but there's a tick box against each of the end ones here, and I can choose how I actually want to progress it depending on what the customer wants. So let's just say, for example, the customer's doing a quick retail sale and they just want this particular insulation product. I can say check out a retail sale, brings me forward, asks me who the customer is, so I can start to type in to see who the particular customer is. It brings up any entries that match that. If I start to type in something it doesn't recognize as a sort of customer entry, it then gives me the option to go into create mode and effectively quickly set up a new customer record. So I can just simply fill out the mandatory and any other fields, click on create new customer, and that'll give me a new customer record has been captured as part of doing that entry. But if we come back in, let's just go back and find the Forest Gate builders that we were working with previously. I can highlight them. I can see the contacts that are from that particular customer. And I can go through, and that's now selected to go into my order. It's set to supply now because it's a retail sale, but it might be a case of the customer's coming to collect it later. We're going to deliver it, or we can do direct sites. As it's an account customer, they might want to put it on their credit account, but on this occasion, we're just going to do it as a cash sale. Click on Pay Now. Up that pops. We can say that he's paying by cash. It's £21.31 is what's owed. So they give us £30. Click on Confirm Pay. So we confirm that. And that then pops through, lets me know that the order's been done, and gives me a selection of documents that I can be producing for the customer. So it might be that I want to do a small retail receipt that's printed on my local printer. I might want to do a large full-size A4 cash sale invoice, or it might be that I want to email the invoice directly to the customer. So I can tick and untick whichever ones I want. In the case of the emails, I can click on the little pencil here. I can go and add additional information into the templated email. I can choose to send it to other people and so on. Or if I want to check before I send it, I can simply click on the eye, and that will just show me off in my PDF viewer what the document looks like before we go and send that off to the customer. With the documents, very quickly within the system, the way the documents are built is you have logo images that you can upload to the system, and they will therefore apply across all of your system documents. So it's very easy if you get changes in details or an updated logo or new trade association membership and so on. One change and it applies across all of your documents. And the document itself that's generated here is a Microsoft Word template. And so it's something that we can do work on for our clients, but a lot of clients will actually work on these templates themselves to change fonts, change layouts, add in or remove what fields are shown on the different documents and so on, to get the smart looking business documents that are a really good fit for what they actually want to do. But assuming we're happy with that, we'll just simply do a retail receipt on this occasion. I do issue documents, lets me know about the payment I've done, and I'm now back into the basket, but just with the 3 items that we hadn't sold out. So it might be a case of, if you have a customer who wants a quote for several items, they want to purchase something and take it with them now, you can build up a basket and then split that into different orders as you go. If we go and do a very quick order now, just sort of starting from scratch rather than from the basket, we can click on the new drop down here. That enables us to go off and do new orders, agency sales, purchases and so on, mill orders where we're doing conversions and that sort of thing. I'm going to jump in. Let's go and do a quote. So again, find who the customer is. So if I go and search through for who they are, choose the customer, that will take me into the entry. Again, it's now set on quote. If as part of the conversation, customer changes their mind, actually they'll order it now rather than quote, you can simply just sort of switch what order type it is as you're progressing the order. But we're going to do it as a quote. It's got a system defined expiry date, whether we allow them to reorder from it or it's just a single time quote turns to order. As we had previously on the retail sales, supply now, collected, delivered. And we do have in the system direct site orders as well. So if I click on that, it pops up with a supplier selection. I can go in and choose a supplier, and that will generate both a sale and a purchase simultaneously that are linked together, and you can progress it through that way with only a sort of single entry. But on this occasion, I'm just going to do a delivered order. Where it's coming from, it might be I want to send it from my other depot, in which case I can just simply switch it there and it will dispatch the stocks, pick and dispatch the stocks from the other depot. But I'm going to keep it on my depot, and we're going to do pay on account on this occasion. So if I go and create the quote for this, we can see who the customer is. That credit wheel that we saw on the customer record has now been pulled through to the quote/order, so you can see, even as you're progressing orders, front and center, what's the position for this particular customer, how are they working. You can go through and select particular products to add in. So again, when I do the drop down, first of all, it shows me the most recent products that I've looked at. I can see for each of those products how much stock I've got, which shows up red as negative or yellow as no stock. I can filter it to say I'm only interested in products that we actually positively have in stock. And we can go through and do a search on that, looking for different items. And we can bring up those items, say what we want, and that will add those items into the particular order. If I go back and do the sort of timber item that we were looking at earlier, there we go. So this, I've already quoted this customer for this, and what we've done as a price, so I can use that quote or I can skip. And this is not related to my user. So even if the customer has asked somebody else in the business to quote them, I can see that we've issued them a quote, and that quote is sort of within a relevant time period. And so, yes, we might still want to carry that quote rather than do it, but we're not going to contradict ourselves within the business. If I jump into the quantity entry again, so let's just say we want 10 5.4s on this particular occasion. So this brings in my order here. So you can see the 54 meters, which is 10 pieces, which is roughly half a cubic meter. I've got the detail here in terms of its 10 5.4 meter lengths. This particular product is certified under a FSC certification scheme, but again, I can switch. It might be a different certification scheme is relevant for that. With things like the pricing on here, if I hover over the price field, it does a pop-up that shows the last time this customer bought this product. They took 144 meters. I can see which address it went to. I can see what price and if we gave them a discount and so on. So it can give a steer as to how we might want to price the order on this particular occasion. So the pop-up's nice and straightforward because it's the last time. But if I click on the little drill down next to the price, I can actually see all the times that this customer's either quoted or purchased this particular product, if there's any price agreements that have been arranged for them. And if I open up the price table, so an automated price table for this product, we can see highlighted in green which price this customer would qualify for by default based on what they've got. We can change between different sort of priced units and measure. So at the moment it's price per cubic meter. We can switch to a price per meter on this product. So it now goes and changes it to being £8.56. So whilst it's still costed at £480 a cubic meter, we can see that that is equivalent to a cost of £4.51 a meter. You can then go and actually negotiate the prices by doing things like changing the actual price per meter there, which goes through. We can go and set what we want as a overall order value, which goes and adds in an additional discount for us to be able to get to that total value. Or it might be a case of we say what margin we want to achieve, and that will go and change the selling price that with the discount we've given gets us to what is the price for that particular line. So lots of different ways to be able to negotiate the individual line prices. And as you change them, it shows you what you have got as the method by which that product was priced. So if I hover over, I can see it was a manually set margin on this particular occasion, whereas the one above was just a base price, which is what we had got. So you can negotiate lines, you can go in and negotiate whole order values if you want to. You can click on the currency symbol and switch between different currencies if that's what you would like to do. So you can sell in different currencies. So now this is 520 euros, which in sterling, which is our home currency, that's 438.88. So lots of ways to be able to go through there. If you've got a product that you order that, for example, has got insufficient stock, so if we on 5 sheets of this particular item, We can see that in there now. Firstly, it warns me that there's insufficient stock, but that I do have 2 sheets coming in on a purchase order from a wee while ago, but it shows me that I've got that there. On the other hand, if I don't want to wait for that to come into stock, I can go to stock source and I can choose either to supply it by transferring it from one of my other locations, or I can go in, add it to an existing purchase order for this particular product, or add it to a purchase order for other products, or I can actually just create a new purchase order from scratch, choose who the supplier is for these particular products, how much we want to order. So this is giving us 10 for stock, and I do save, and that's now reorganize the order in its now stock source view, that these 2 items are coming from stock and this one is pre-allocated to this purchase order. So if I jump across to this purchase order, you can see it's pre-allocated to this draft quote for this customer. We're ordering 15 sheets, of which 5 have been quoted and 15 are for stock. Okay, so it's nice and straightforward as you're basically building up those orders, even with very complicated and detailed information. All of it is available. Everything's a simple click away. It's hopefully nice and straightforward to be able to sort of see, as I've navigated through different parts, that there's color-coded buttons as to whether you are taking an order forward, whether you're adding to it or editing it, and so on, whether something is a warning that potentially you may want to follow up on, and so on. And so hopefully there's good sort of level of understanding in terms of what there is in the system. And whilst it's been relatively brief, I hope that's a good introduction.
Certainly. Yeah. Awesome. That's great. So fantastic demo. Yeah. Just loved every minute. I'm sure the attendees also love this. But it's been amazing to hear this fantastic journey of your software from back in 1981 all the way to here and now on Mendix, right? So, well, mainframe to Linux and then now on to Mendix. It's an amazing journey. I particularly like that smart entry form that you showed on screen. That's pretty cool that you're able to pick multiple sizes, which is exactly what a typical use case or customer would ask for, like a cutting list, and then being the user being able to put in all the stuff there and automatically it prices up automatically. That's amazing. The flexibility that you built into the system is amazing. And I can see all the flexibility is all there, whether it's quoting, ordering, discounting is all there. So it's brilliant. It's just completely blown away by what you've done. There's just, I think there's just a few questions that we can just very quickly take before we close for the day.
Yep.
So there's one in the chat. Hey, Ian, I'm new to Mendix. Pretty impressive. You have built an ERP platform on this. 2 questions from him. How do you integrate between your merchant ERP app and other customer or external software systems? And the second one is, what is the upcoming evolution of the Mendix platform that you're most looking forward to?
So to answer the first question, in terms of the integrations that we do, the majority of them to modern platforms are, we have an API through the Mendix platform that is we expose, and that effectively we've built web connectors that talk directly to those other applications. There are tools out there, sort of things like Zapier and Make.com and so on, that can sit as a sort of middle partner to do a translation, but we've actually chosen to do sort of direct connections. So as well as the sort of financial packages we spoke about, there's things like Shopify and WooCommerce and so on. So because each of the platforms we talk to has got slight variations on how they handle things, we found it easiest to do our own connections and make sure we've got something that's a sort of good link and so on. But it's been a relatively straightforward process for that. Some older systems we do by simply doing file exchange, old-fashioned sort of CSV back and forth and so on. But that tends to be when the system, the other end, doesn't have an API that we can work with directly. And remind me the second question.
What's the upcoming evolution of Mendix
yes.
platform that you're most looking forward to? Yeah.
I think the hot topic, like in a lot of the world at the moment, is the AI capabilities. In truth, what I'm sort of looking to work around and understand how we can fold into how our users use the system is what AI can usefully be contributing. I'd love it that an end user or even a sort of sales rep, for example, could type in the sort of building project that a client is working on, and that generates all of the lines of a quote, so that a user isn't having to sort of pick products and choose quantities and things like that. Equally, on the analytics side of the business, typically our customers will have 15 to 20,000 product lines. Some can run up to 250,000 product lines, all of which, or many of which, they are sort of stocking and so on, and they want to have a good understanding of what are we holding in stock well, what have we got too much of, what should we be getting rid of. If we were to change prices, would that likely have an impact on it, and so on. And whilst the first level of analytics is there at the moment to be able to say, right, show me all the dormant products, show me everything that's not sold, I think AI could take the level of analytics further to then be able to present some usable actions that, as someone working within the business, you could actually sort of run with and say, right, this is what I actually should go and do, and be able to apply human understanding and interpretation onto that sort of guidance. So almost having an advisor in the business, working with you, that you can then sort of decide what you actually want to do. So yeah, that's the sort of thing I think would be very cool.
Right. Absolutely. That's great. All right. We got two more, I think, and then we can, I don't see anything else. We got two more questions that have just come through. One of them is, so I think there was a lot of UK focus in the demo. So can Merchandor be used outside UK? So that's a question that's come out now.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we don't actively market Merchandor globally. We push to the UK market because it's a market we understand and so on. But we have built the system to be multi-currency. I think I touched on it very lightly there, but to be multi-currency, so whichever territory you're working in, you can effectively set what is your home currency and then intertrade with other currencies from that. Being a Mendix hosted cloud system, it literally can run from anywhere and go anywhere. But so it can, and within the platform as well is the ability to switch it to different languages and so on as well. So you can recover it, so sort of field titles and all the rest of it are in whatever is the local language.
Sure, great. And the final one, I think, for the day is, do you customize systems for different clients? I guess that's based on the adaptable solutions that I spoke about, and also the system that you've seen, right? So customization for different clients. Yeah.
We do, but what we do is we always build those customizations in as part of the larger platform. So if it is something that is highly bespoke to a particular customer, there will be a setting in the system that means we can switch it on or off for individual businesses, so it doesn't impact on other businesses that they want it. But more importantly, the customizations that we build in that are of use to other businesses are available to the sort of wider client base. And also from our support and documentation and administration side of things, we only ever have one version of the system that we're having to maintain. There's not lots of individual versions.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks for that. I think that's the end of the questions, and thanks for the fantastic session, Ian. I think this was very useful. I'm sure all the attendees found this very useful. And until we have another session, I think thank you all the attendees for joining, and thank you, Ian, for your time today. And
my pleasure. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming on board. Yeah.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.